Ευχαριστώ. I will make it in English, of course. I will talk now a little bit about passion, about curiosity, about research, and about how much me as a designer, a graphic designer, is emotionally involved in everything I do. I will talk about inspiration, about concepts, symbols, icons, logo, colors, brands, which is my world, and I guess it's also your world if you are part of this field of design. Sorry about the quality sometimes. I picked it from the web. I'm going to talk about feelings and love, and as I said, passion. And this is a coin that was made 2,700 years ago in Cyrenaica in Libya, and it was a colony, a Greek colony, and the source of this icon, the symbol of love, started so early in human history. And I just went out an hour ago and I found this kisos. It's also in Hebrew, kisos. Kisos. And this is the source. It's a symbol of passion, sex, love. It's all came from those leaves. This is something I did like 20 years ago with Greenpeace, Green Kiss, which also it's associated with love and passion. And also the fig leaf, which is old as ancient civilization, the fig leaf from the Bible. As you remember, Adam and Eve. It also has to do with knowing, and the word knowing in the Bible means to have sexual intercourse. Knowing, to know somebody is to have sex with somebody in Hebrew, at least. So this is a project that I did with Adam and Eve, and it's a coin in Israel. You see, it's a series of coins. It's old. We're talking about old icons, basic icons. All our religions are here, I guess. Even pacifism. But just I realized while I was while I was making this presentation that not in even one religion there is this heart symbol of love. Religions are talking about love and passion, but never with this icon. It's interesting. I don't know if you all know this symbol. It's very, I couldn't ignore this. You know, this is a triad of Ukraine. I started to prepare my presentation a couple of weeks ago without even knowing that I'm going to talk first of all about Ukraine. I have to. So, talking about research, it's also an old icon, like more than 1,000 years ago. And here, on the left, it's an old coin from Ukraine, and it's all started with the development of this national identity so many years ago. I mean, relatively, we are the Jews, and you, the Greek, we are ancient. But also other nationalities developed for thousands of years. So this is a research I'm doing all the time, no matter what work I make, either real work or personal work that involves money or not. I'm trying to get as deep as I can with a lot of curiosity and passion. And this is the flag of the Ukraine, which symbolically is the fields of grain, the biggest in Europe, one of the biggest in the world, and the sky. It's the open sky. This is a flag. If you miss this flag in the last 3 weeks, it's impossible to ignore. So I take a stand. With all my work, you can see my opinion. Sometimes it's personal, sometimes it's professional, but you see my opinion. I make a statement. So stand with Ukraine. It's like the army, the national army, everybody is taking a part in defending the land, the country. I also emotionally, I'm automatically with a weak. We all are, basically. I think we can identify more with victims somehow, because they are weak and they need protection. And in this case, it's so clear that it's so unjust that it's very easy also to identify. So this is the Ukraine, which is huge in comparison with us, the Israelis, or the Cypriots. We are very, very small countries. And again, I send my messages supporting the Ukraine in all kinds of, we're talking about emotions here. And this is also a way I used to express ideas by juxtapositioning of elements like like trivial and corny elements, icons, that the way I connect them, the juxtapositioning, creating a new powerful message. So in this case, just the choice is whether to choose violence or peace. It's like the dove of peace was there, always there. You have to just discover this. So here we are. This is a work that I did a month ago. And before anybody would imagine what will come in the very, like a few days later. So the Russian bear, also an icon, is putting his lap on the flag. And I already thought about the consequences when I did it more than a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago. And I was prepared already for what will come. Oh, this is a Russian sheet. It's very stylish. Or Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, that is acting as a beacon, as a ideologist, as a real hero. I guess you understand what is going on here. And a tragedy is born while we are talking here. It's a real nightmare that will affect us all in the near future. But from the shelters in Kiev or in Odessa or in Kharkiv, I send a message of hope. It's like the biblical, mythological Noah and the arch of Noah, if you remember the story, that is looking up and see the dove that comes, first of all, without the leaf that we talked about, the leaves, and then will come, hopefully, in the future with a leaf of peace. It's utopic, but I have to do it. And all those works are now shown in the shelters in the Ukraine. Now, in order to cheer up the poor people that got stuck in the middle of their lives in a horrible war. So this is my small contribution politically and in my professional work, helping in a way promoting support in a horrible situation. I will talk now like 5 minutes about inspiration. One of the most influential designers and icons that I had the amazing luck to meet a few times and to talk and to spend times with was Milton Glaser. That I guess I don't have to tell you who was Milton Glaser. but I brought him because he took this heart icon to a new level. And this is basically the first emoji. Just imagine, that was invented in 1972. When I was in high school yet. And it started on this napkin in a restaurant. And Milton Glaser then made amazing, iconic works. Also with peace, a lot of peace. And I brought, he had a lot of sentences that we should remember, but one of my favorites is, there are 3 responses to a piece of design. Yes, no, and wow. Wow is the one to aim for. And this is what I'm trying to achieve. It's very hard. And this is the materials I use to make a special commemorating work for Milton Glaser. I guess you all know this Bob Dylan work, and this is what eventually came out. Homage to Milton Glaser that died almost 2 years ago. Another icon designer, Massimo Vignelli, originally Italian, that arrived to New York, and Rosina talked about how you organize information. So Massimo was the king of organizing information, and he created the first New York subway map and signage. And look at those things, those elements that are so fresh, like you can look at your iPhone and see it. It's from the 70s, also 72. It's unbelievable. And this is homage to Massimo. That also I met, and I was inspired by his work, and it's a payback. Dan Reisinger, that probably you don't know, is iconic Israeli designer that passed away 3 years ago. And he is responsible for almost everything in the 70s, 80s, and 90s in terms of logos and branding in Israel. And he was a great inspiration as well. The national, how do you say, airline, El Al, I guess you know, to Istanbul, for example. Yisratek, 41 years ago, which it looks so fresh. The colors, the use of colors, he was brilliant in use of colors. Piece of work of an exhibition of his work in Budapest that inspired me to make this heart for him, a love and appreciation for Dan Reisinger. And the last one in this series, there are more, but the last one is Vladimir Chaika, a Russian friend that was my age, that passed away a couple of months ago, a victim of COVID in Moscow. And he was a singer, of musician, of visual elements. Like he had four notes, like do, re, mi, fa, for example. 4 notes. Look at 4 notes. All his work is based on 4 notes. It's like music. All this wall is 4 notes. To the memory of Chaika. I would like to talk a few sentences about tolerance, because I'm here because of this subject, tolerance. And this is something that is happening now. It's happening now, not only in terms of identification or self identity of countries or nations, but also in terms of people and their sexual identity, which is very important now. It's a phase in the whole world of reaction and action and reaction. And this is like every fragment in sexual identity has already a brand. So if we are talking basically on gay, it's not anymore gay. It can be bisexual, asexual, transgender, intersexual, pansexual, non-binary, and stuff like this. And all those that started here, they have this is a transsexual or pansexual. It's all, this is the post I did especially for, thank you Ageliki, for this tolerance. I was working on a poster or identity for the Locarno Film Festival, which is this is their sign, their icon, their logo, their brand, and this is like a close-up on their 75th festival. And this is a special work for the new Jewish year. Last year we have a special calendar. Judaism is based on a lunar calendar, like the Islam calendar, and this is a piece from the Bible on the heart, which is a very fundamental prayer. Listen, Israel, you should love God with all your heart. So I wish my friends and clients love for the new year. It was also it participated in a lot of projects here in, for example, in Korea. I jump to a totally professional project because we are still in the heart thing. And this is a city of 30,000 people. It's a new city. It started 90 years ago as a village, and now it became a city of 30,000 people with an idea to grow 3 times more in the next 10 years. So they decided to brand the city, rebrand the city, the new city. And this is an air view of part of this new city. And this is a map of the, also I associated this with the heart as well. You still can see the roads, the streets, and Kfar Yona, the name of the new city, the green center of the Sharon, which is part Sharon. You probably know the name Sharon. It's part of the center of Israel, and this is the center of the center. And it's all a brand book, branding. Here, the Sharon's Green Center, because we have 3 languages used in Israel: Arabic, English, and Hebrew. This is part of the branding. It's a huge project, 1.5 years, and now we started this, and this for the 90 years of the Kfar Yona. I go now to talk about icons, symbols, and inspirations. And this is the sabra, the prickly pear, which is the most identified plant of the Israeli. This is our national plant. Like, I don't know if Kisos is your national plant, or you have a national plant. We, for example, have a national bird, a national flag or national symbol, and national plant, which is a sabra, like the Israeli, tough in the outside, aggressive, but soft and sweet in the inside. This is like the cliche about the Israeli. And you see the sweet fruit of the sabra. Actually, this sabra arrived only 400 years ago from Mexico. This is the original place of the sabra. This is the flag of Mexico with our sabra here, with the fruit that was brought to the Mediterranean, also to Cyprus. I think you have also. It's all, and it's funny that sabras plants were brought to mark borders, and we share something in common. Israel and Cyprus have no real borders, at least that are accepted by everybody. So you have the Turks here without, let's say, permission, and we have the Palestinians. So it's ironic that our national plant is that was brought to define borders that we don't have. Just food for thought. Talking about thought, we are a very brainy country, high tech, Amazing, amazing. It's unbelievable what is going on in Tel Aviv. It's like skyscrapers, like crazy. 40 minutes from here. 40 minutes. I invite you all to come. Not together, but drop by drop. 40 minutes. Does anybody went to Israel once? One. Okay, 2, 3. Good, good, good. No, you have to. No, you have to. I mean, it's like I was curious about Cyprus, so I came a couple of times. I came here. I was in Nicosia. I was, as a matter of fact, everywhere, in the Trodos or Larnaca or Paphos, but because I'm curious. I think you should be curious. We are neighbors. We have a good relationship. Hope it will continue. So this is, for example, by the way, everything is, if you want to follow me on Instagram, it would be nice. This is a poster I did for an exhibition in Lima and La Paz 4 years ago. And this is a tour I made in South America with like State of Mind. This was the title of the tour, State of Mind. It's a double meaning of my attitude and my country. And another tour I made in Brazil with the same Sabra element. It's me as a presenter of Israel. And so I make this amazing shows which is so hyper with adrenaline, and it's a special experience. Just so the Sabra is also like, can be rude, loud, cheeky. And here another exhibition in New Orleans, and the same element that I use. This is my ammunition. Those elements, the Sabra. We will, in a moment, we'll talk about other elements, but it's everywhere. I use those elements here in an exhibition in the States, Both Sides of Peace, which is the Sabra is not only us, the Israelis, also the Palestinians. They were born in Israel, Palestine. It's the same. So both have the right to be in the country. And we are trying to approach each other, but it's painful. Here it's, for example, an exhibition in Stockholm, and it's also the fruit, the Sabra, the sweet, and also it's a heart surgery, anatomy of a conflict. I'm analyzing the conflict through the eyes of a visual artist. And I did this, it took me a couple of months to think how I will execute this. How will I make an operation like that will look real? And I try to think about locations. Eventually, I found the location in my dentist's clinic. So you see the prickly pear, the fruit, and I remember my dentist said this was the most interesting day of his life. A new experience with all the sterilic things, and it's in the streets in Stockholm. And also this element in an exhibition in Mexico City, the Sabra, myself, and in Vienna, and now again in Korea. It's supposed to start today because it's exactly the beginning of spring. Bom in Korean, Bom is spring, and I think today is the opening of a new exhibition that you are the first that see it. So I talked about the Sabra, of course, the Star of David, that is ancient. We talked about the heart. Star of David is thousands of years. And also in old mosaics, also Greek, there are those shapes. And here, a metaphor that was done 16 years ago, the Star of David, a violent, vicious circle of violence. The Ministry of Culture and Sport in Israel that I was lucky to make their identity, it's also involving the Star of David with an actor, dancer and a football player, or the civil service of Israel. Also, I was lucky to work for the National Medical Israeli Cannabis, which is the most advanced in the world, because it's not just cannabis, it's high-tech. It's really like science. And here, I'm quite happy to be in a cannabis field and in the laboratory, and all the people are quite, just from the smell you get high. And then I created the ISO, you know, the ISO, the tampon of quality of medical cannabis in the whole world from Israel. And I found a good name, Canaan. I don't know if you know the meaning of Canaan. Canaan is the ancient Israel. Before the Israelites made the exodus from Greece, from Egypt, yes, the land of Israel was Canaan. So here it's Canaan, yes, cannabis. And you see the cannabis molecules, the Star of David, the colors of the Ministry of Health of Israel, and this is the stamp of the quality of the whole medical cannabis in the world. Another use of we talked about the Star of David, the stripes. Also the source of the stripes is from the ancient talis that the Jews wear when they pray. You know, they have a special garment. So the stripes are here in Israel Consumers Council. the National Library of Israel. So I give you some elements that I use from like basic symbols. Okay, this is another icon. I guess you all know the Iwo Jima, the victory of the United States or the West against the Japanese, simultaneously with the victory in Europe. And we also have our Iwo Jima. It's a conquest of the city of Eilat in southern Israel that was also iconic. And the flag that was improvised, the flag of Israel, and what happened 50 years after independence to all the ideals of the sentiments and the good intentions of a new country. Eventually it happened to all of us. This is somebody knows what is here. It's our national icon. Like we have the flag, so like the triad of Ukraine. This is our national symbol. Like in Cyprus have the two olive branches. So we have also two olive branches. And I guess you know this, yes, the menorah. The menorah, it's our Jewish symbol. It's based on Zacharias' book from the Bible, which shows a dream of the Zacharias, the prophet, when he sees the menorah of the temple in Jerusalem, with two olive branches beside the menorah. The menorah, how do we know how it looks? We're talking about thousands of years. It's amazing that here in Titus Gate in Rome, there's a documentation of the robbery of the Temple Mount in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago. And here is the menorah, look. And here are Jewish slaves that are taking the menorah with all the temple treasures, the gold, it's all gold. The trumpet, the gold trumpet, and the sacrifice tools, and the menorah are taken, are robbed by the Romans, and from this statue, not statue, how do you say, not fresco, I forget the relief. And here is another work that is talking about our roots. The menorah of nowadays has roots of thousands of years. But also, this is a protest against the Israeli government, which is like a banana republic, rotten. And thank God, we have a new government. Just thank God. Which will probably in the future will be corrupted, but it's part of human nature. So the idea in democracy is to change, because people are people. People will steal, lie, conquer Ukraine, or do war crimes. But if you can change the government, so you have hope. So this was a campaign, outdoor campaign, and I got a lot of angry telephone calls. How dare I use the menorah, the holy menorah, and make a banana republic. And also for the last year's Independence Day, before they changed the government, the left and right in Israel are fighting. Icons are old, thousands of years, and maybe the first one is like hands in the caves in France and Spain. I guess you all know Altamira, in Spain, where they found those hands. It's mythological. I took this opportunity to use in a campaign for Amnesty International the hand, which is very strong and powerful visual. All the Amnesty International identity, and it's a campaign that went for 15 years. It's just a very small part of the campaign against human rights in China, in Nigeria, and other places, and comparing the self-saturated West with the dying South, or dying third world. You see, like with this Cohiba cigar that costs $150, you can save a person in Africa for a year. It's all like I don't want to get into this because it's I'm out of time, I think. It's all came out in a book in China a couple of years ago. Another, like hope, coexistence. It's utopic. Unfortunately, we dream about it. I mean, I dream about it. I pray for coexistence or tolerance, but reality is like this. This is a border between Israel and Palestine. Although it was made 21 years ago, nothing has changed in the last 70 years. It's all the time we are so similar, like you and the neighbors next street. Yes, because nobody can tell really that are you Turkish or Greek, because also we are very similar. We are very similar. The Jews, because we are from the Mediterranean. We are so similar, it's frightening. And we and the Palestinians are in the same land. We're trying to separate, but we cannot, because it's so complicated. No, this is too complicated. But it's painful for so many years, this bloodbath. It's like the COVID now. It's in waves. Now it's so going relatively quiet. But there are waves of violence, sometimes wars, real wars, and sometimes just operations or violence for months or weeks or days. And again, like 20 years ago, all this, the same. It's painful, it's horrible, and Ukraine now is reminding me, thank God it's now quiet. This is me, not far from you, in Lebanon. 40 years ago, exactly 40 years ago, I was in the art school, Bezalel in Jerusalem, my third year, and like Ukraine now, I'm going suddenly to a war. I'm going to a war as a graphic design student that was in the middle of designing packaging for wine bottles. And what a traumatic experience. So you see, this is Beirut. Anyone ever been to Beirut? I recommend you. It's a beautiful city and very near as well. But I don't know now, the situation in Lebanon is quite shitty. But suddenly I'm 20-something, a warrior in Lebanon. And I come back from Lebanon, and a friend of mine is a film director, and he asked me to design a poster for his movie, The Cherry Season, which is a story of a unit in Israeli unit in Lebanon, that all the unit is killed, getting killed. And this is like symbolic with a sign of the Lebanon war. And here, all my friends, tragic as it is, this is a graveyard for soldiers, all 25, my friends. This is my childhood friend, my best friend. It's so crazy. And it's written, it was made 18 years after the Lebanon war, that Israel is still in Lebanon. And we are protesting. We made amazing protests to get the fuck out of Lebanon, and we succeeded. It's like Vietnam. We succeeded. We are out. It's a swamp. So this was a cry to get out of Lebanon. It's also ironic, like also 20 years ago, have a year of peace and security. It's suicide bombers and Israeli elite soldiers are hugging each other. And this is me. And this is another wish for the new year. Have a year of peace and tranquility. This is my 14 years old son, my youngest son. I have 4 children. My youngest son that was born with a Hamas and Hezbollah missile in his arms. He was born with violence. Because not like the Ukraine that didn't start to shoot at Russia, we are getting also attacks from the Palestinians. It's not so clear like in Ukraine. This is another wish for peace. That I use the colors of the Israeli and Palestinian flags. Like the war is this bullet, and the peace is the two nations. But it's like Gulliver; it rises from time to time. And this is in an exhibition in Italy, near Milano. Size really matters. My experience as a warrior, I was a warrior for years in a war or in all kinds of activities. Also designed my world of visuals. So it's like things I practiced the hand grenade. I take a keyboard, and it's without Photoshop. I created a hand grenade. Or the anti-tank missiles, a poster, launching messages. Or this is an exhibition in Istanbul. Explosive ideas. Sometimes ideas are sick, like 9/11. And here it's another exhibition in Istanbul. My father tongue, not my mother tongue. My father tongue is. I don't want to. I'm very critical about this militant attitude. Okay, last 2 minutes. I wanted to talk. I can talk 2 hours now. About the cellular that we became addicted to. This is a campaign that I'm doing for the last 2 years. With COVID, I treated also our addiction to cellular, like cell. It's a double meaning here. Yeah? Cell. We are prisoners of our addiction. It's like part of our brain. It's a trap. It's a fake news. Another trap. Another trap. Another fake news. And it's all leading to we have to protect ourselves from this virus, and it's a very long campaign of World War Z. Now the Z is coming back to life, and it's all visuals of the campaign of the COVID. And again, this icon. And this was in Greece, in Athens, also not only in Israel, also in Athens. And I think that's it, or I can continue a little bit. Okay, so maybe we finish here officially, but because of the situation, I created, it was a great experience. I created a 3D exhibition that was shown on the web in Israel and in Poland. And it's a real gallery, but all in 3D. It was, and the last work is War and Peace, that I wish it will be the opposite. Peace and war. And there is no soldier like this. I created, it's not Photoshop, I built a soldier from pieces of other soldiers that is surrendering. And it was also, this is also in Greece. The Adobe magazine choose this icon. I wish you love and peace. Thank you.